Good afternoon to all the dignitaries, guests, faculties, and participants. I am S. Anuradha, one of the coordinators of today's webinar. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here for the 2 days national webinar on research methodology. The talks of day one were informative, and I hope today's talks will be helpful and create general awareness among staff, students, and researchers. I invite our beloved principal, Mrs. P. Sailaja Garu, for her greetings and introductory remarks of second day's national webinar.
Thank you, Anuradha. Good afternoon to one and all once again. I welcome all the dignitaries, delegates, faculty and students to this second day national webinar on research methodology. At the outset, I would like to thank the chief guest and resource persons of yesterday's session, Dr. Suresh Varma Garu, Professor B. Srinivas Garu, and Professor Prasad Garu, respectively. Though we had a minor technical problem at the beginning of yesterday's session, our technical team were able to attend it immediately. So, we were able to conduct the session successfully. I am aware that the speakers require a little bit more time than they were actually given to explain the concept in detail. We were able to plan the time schedule not exceeding for 2 hours on the whole, so we could give them only few minutes. Sorry, Suresh Varma Garu and Srinivas Garu, for you had to brief your information. Extending my sincere thanks to all the participants of yesterday's session, I warmly welcome the speakers of today's session, Professor Sandhya Koul, Department of Physics, Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, and Dr. P. Giribabu Garu, Assistant Professor, School of Business and Management, Keetham Deemed University. I thank you, Madam and Sir, for accepting to be a part of this program to share your experience and knowledge in the area of research. My hearty welcome to Dr. M. Kamalakumar, Principal, Kakinada Campus, AKNU. Thank you, Madam, for accepting to deliver the valedictory address. While in yesterday's session, the speakers in detail discussed various methods in research methodology in social sciences and biological sciences, today's speakers will be guiding and focusing on physical sciences and management studies. I hope all the participants will be benefited through this webinar and apply all these techniques and be ethical, as Prasad Sir has said, while they take up their research work. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your introductory remarks. Now let's move on to technical session. I invite Mrs. Y. Sridevi, HOD, Department of Electronics and Organizing Secretary of the webinar, to introduce our eminent speaker, Professor Sandhya Koul.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am truly honored to introduce Professor Sandhya Koul to you all. Professor Sandhya works in the Department of Physics, Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur. She obtained MSc Electronics from ANU Guntur and then continued her journey with MPhil PhD from ANU in the domains of solid-state physics. She was involved in UGC, DST, FIST, and DRS projects worth around 2 crores. Currently, she is handling in MHRD project worth 1.23 crores in Design Innovation Center by JNTU Kakinada, and she serves as co-principal investigator. Her current research areas focus in nanomaterials, biomaterials, crystals, and glass science. She has more than 80 publications in reputed journals to her credit and presented about 100 papers in national and international conferences. Under her guidance, 15 PhDs, 7 MPhils were awarded and 8 more are working for PhDs in different specializations. In addition to this, she is a regular reviewer for journals like Solid State Communications, Journal of Molecular Structure, Material Letters, and Bulletin of Material Science, etc. This year, she received the Best Teacher Award from AP State Government. She is involved in multiple activities. Some of them are: she is a BOS member to some of the affiliate colleges in Acharya Nagarjuna University and Krishna University. She is a member of Indian Association of Physics Teachers, Indian Physics Association, Dr. S. Radhakrishna Teachers Welfare Association. She is an associate fellow at AP Academy of Sciences and an active member of various administrative committees of ANU. She is the coordinator of UG exams at ANU, chairman, BOS member to both nanotech electronics and instrumentation courses, and also the nodal officer to Guntur region cluster group of APHEPB. All these experiences portray Professor Sandhya Kohl's caliber and passion towards her profession. Finally, I thanks to our principal and management for giving me this great opportunity to introduce Professor Sandhya Kohl.
Thank you, Sridevi ma'am. Over to Sandhya ma'am. Sandhya ma'am. Ma'am, are you there? Madam, Sandhya ma'am will connect within a few minutes.
Participants are requested to bear for a few minutes. Sandhya ma'am will be joining shortly.
Net problem connect అవుతున్నారు.
Sandhya ma'am has a slight problem with her net. She'll be connecting shortly. Please log in.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You may please continue, ma'am. You are audible.
Sandhya ma'am, unmute yourself, ma'am.
So I'm very much thankful to the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to talk in this webinar, national webinar on research methodology in physical sciences. So in fact, this is a very important topic which you have chosen for this webinar. So nowadays, even in your colleges, they are insisting on doing the research and the research projects for the students and also the faculty and also the research anybody out there in your colleges. So research methodology in physical sciences. So for this, we are going to see how the research is going on and how we have to choose a problem while going to have it in a research. So that's we are going to see in this presentation. So here we are having the research in different areas. So those areas that should be chosen. That should be chosen by the student or the faculty to have a proper research to find out a solution for a particular problem in physical science. So what is research? Research is logical and the systematic search for new and useful information on a particular topic. That topic we have to choose in so that is the research. Research should be active. It should be diligent and systematic process of inquiry in order to discover, interpret, or revise facts, events, and behaviors and theories. How do we say that this research has to, how we have to move on? So first, the study. The study on a particular subject, and especially the topic we have to concentrate on, and then recommendation and the observations. So see the in a different way, in different directions. Oh, this seeing, and later we'll finally get the result. And then what are the objectives for any research? There should be a proper objective. So to discover new facts, to verify and test important facts, to analyze an event or process or the phenomenon, to develop scientific tools, concepts and theories, to find solution to scientific and non-scientific and social problems, to overcome or solve the problems occurring in daily life. Next one is research scientific it may be theoretical or practical. మా ఫోన్ పెట్టి చేసి చెప్తే బెటర్. హాట్స్పాట్ ఆన్ అయిందా?
మేడం డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయిపోయింది
మన కాల్ వెళ్తాం వెళ్ళదు.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear. Can you please log in through your mobile?
I'm very sorry. There are so many in the case of this internet. Sorry for the disruptions. And this problem refers to difficulty community or an industry or a government organization experiences. It may be theoretical or practical. So research on existing theories and concepts helps us in identifying the range and application of them. It is the fountain of knowledge and provide guidelines to problem solving. So research on existing theories and concepts helps us to identify the range and the application of them.
Recording in progress.
So my phone will. So the importance of research. So research problem refers to difficulty. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We are sorry for the interruption. There is a problem of network at the other end at Sandhya ma'am's side. So she's going to log in through her mobile and she'll be continuing her session within a few minutes. Please stay with us. Sorry for the interruption. As we are waiting for Sandhya ma'am to log in once again, may I request the participants who were present for yesterday's session, they may give a short feedback so that our program will be continued. As and when Sandhya ma'am log in, we will be continuing our session as per the schedule. Meanwhile, I request any one of the participants to give feedback regarding yesterday's session.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
My name is Annavaram. I am working as junior lecturer in Government Junior College, Palkol, madam.
Yes, sir. Continue.
Okay, I am part-time scholar of Nannaya University, madam. In the subject commerce, madam. It is very useful program because I am not working in a degree college, but it is very useful to know the research methods and other related issues. Very useful program conducting in online basis. It is very comfortable to us because there is no holidays to junior colleges on the preparation of part-time, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think Sandhya ma'am is ready. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes.
You may please continue, madam. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay. So objectives of the research, I will later share the slides. So objectives of the research: to discover new facts, to verify and test important facts, to analyze an event or process or phenomenon, to develop scientific tools, concepts and theories, and to find solutions to scientific and non-scientific and social problems. So in this way, we have to prepare for the objectives of the research. What is the importance of research? How we go with
Please unmute yourself, ma'am. Sandhya ma'am, you are not audible.
experienced from the experimentation, analysis, and also comparison, and finally the resulting. So this will give us the importance of research. Research on existing theories. Theories are the background for the work we are doing. So theories and also the concepts helps us to identify the range and the application of them. So it is the fountain of knowledge, and also it provides guidelines to the problem we are solving. So that is the importance of research. It is important in industry and business for higher gain. So for that, we'll go for the research. Suppose if a student is studying, what we'll expect? He should gain the knowledge. And the second one is he should gain good marks. So like that, in the case of this research work, now we have to take these two also into consideration. And also this research provides basis for many government policies, whatever we are doing. So this will send it in the form of publications, and we'll send it in the form of patents. So finally, ultimately, it helps us in the government policies also to adopt our results. And it leads to the identification and the characterization of new materials and the new living things, new starts, and etc. What is research and what is research methodology? Research methods are different, and research methodology is also different. Various procedures or the schemes or the algorithms which we use in research methods are used in research. Methods are used by researchers during the study, and we term them as the research methods. We have different research methods, and we have different approaches, and also the research methodology. A systematic way to solve these research problems, we call them as the research methodology. And also it is a science of studying how research should be carried out. So these aspects we have to keep it in mind, whether your students or the faculty or the research scholars, you have to take or you have to keep them in mind. And then what are the different types of research? One is fundamental research or basic research, and the other one is the applied research. Fundamental research or the applied research. What is the fundamental research or the basic research? So nowadays we are doing on the applied research, not the basic research. Already most of the research, even though the basic research was done in different areas such as physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, and the extended subjects such as biochemistry, food and nutrition, and also different areas we are doing them in the applied sciences. So it is an investigation of basic principles and reasons for occurrence of a particular event or the process or the phenomena. So that we are observing nowadays. We are observing this research very rarely. So this research leads to new theory or new phenomena or new properties of matter, or even the existence of new matter which has not been known or reported so far. That is the fundamental research or the basic research. And the second one is the applied research. In this research, one solves certain problems complying well-known and accepted theories. So this is the extension of the basic research. And most of the experimental research and the case studies, the interdisciplinary research are essential nowadays. Interdisciplinary research is very essential. We cannot stick on to a particular subject or a particular area of specialization. So that can be done. And what are the stages of research? What are the stages of research? Selection of a research topic. That is the first and the foremost thing. Definition of the problem. We have to choose the problem. Then comes the literature survey. Without literature survey, we cannot move on to the next stage. So we cannot finalize our problem. We cannot finalize our research topic. So without research survey, we cannot move on. And assessment of current status of topic. So what is the topic we are now we are doing? And what is the assessment of the current status of this topic? That we have to take into account, and the formulation of a hypothesis, and the research design, how we are coping up, how we are going to do our research, and what is the investigation, and then comes the analysis, So all this it comes into consideration while we are moving on or looking into the matter. And then fundamental, what is the final result? What is the final result we are looking into? Selection of a research topic, selection of a research problem. Topic should be suitable for research. What are the topic we are taking? That should be suitable for the research. Next, we should have the interest. We should concentrate much on the research topic with the literature survey available. That is the most important thing. We have to take it on. And then topic should not be chosen by compulsion. So we have to take the topic in such a way that it leads to a different direction, that is a new direction. That should be useful to the society. That should be useful to the society. Literature survey is a collection of research publications, books. We have to go through the books. Going through the books is for the concepts, for the formulations, for the theories. So, and we have to search different publications. What is the latest research that is going on? And that we have to look at, and the reference collection is also more important. And we have so many methods. So first one is research collection or the literature survey. And the second one is experimentation. So we can conclude with a certain problem, certain research problem, and we'll go for the research methodology. So for this, we should go initially with the experimentation. So in the case of this physics, chemistry, nanotechnology, and all these physical sciences, there are so many processes, so many synthesizing methods in order to find out a particular result, in order to find out a particular a powder or a gas or a material, whatever we have chosen. So that should be generally what we'll do is we take different chemicals and will without knowing the periodic table, we cannot move on to the research. So experimentation is very important. So what is the process we are adopting is more important. Later, that procedure should be well known. We have to do the process in a trial and error way. We have, suppose if we are doing initially, we have to 2 to 3 times or at least four times, then we will know what the exactly what is the structure. So is it in the subatomic level? It is in the atomic level, or is it in the microscopic level or bulk method? Bulk length of the scale. Length of the scale is also very important. If it is greater than 1 millimeter, we call it as material. If it is between 1 to 1,000 micrometers, we call it as the microscopic level, and the atomic level is 1 to 10 nanometers. And if it is 1 nanometer or less than 1, we call it as the 10 nanometer scale or subatomic scale. So structure is also very important in order to find out a particular type of, in order to derive a solution for the problem we have taken. So we will prepare using any of the methods which we know that in if we take the classes, generally what we'll do is we'll take the milk quenching process, and also sometimes salt process is also good. And in case of nanomaterials, we'll use the salt gel process, wet chemical process, solid state reaction. And we'll use so many methods are there. So many methods are there. So using any of these methods, we'll at a particular conclusion with a particular material or a water extract characterization methods. In this, we have water extract methods. We have morphological studies. We have SEM with IDAX and TEM with TEM. And also we have optical absorption spectroscopy. We have photoluminescence studies. We have Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy studies, and we have electron ferromagnetic property studies, and we have Raman spectroscopy, so on and so forth. So why do we need these characterization techniques? So suppose if we take the case of a glass, if we take the case of a nanomaterial, so we are using a particular method. So XRD is for the identification whether it is an amorphous material or a crystalline material. So XRD studies. Later I will give you share the PowerPoint. XRD studies. We have the optical absorption. We have the photoluminescence studies. We have the Raman spectroscopy. So all these characterizations will conclude that this particular type of material is useful for a particular application. So finally, we'll arrive at a conclusion. We'll arrive at a conclusion. My 10% battery on the So like that, XRD is for whether the particular material is a crystalline or non-crystalline. That means amorphous material. And then we'll go for optical absorption studies. Optical absorption studies for getting different band gaps. So this is nanotechnology, nanomaterials, all this. And also we have the photoluminescence studies, and the photoluminescence studies whether they are whether this phosphorescence, fluorescence, studies. All these studies are
Madam, you are not audible, madam. Please unmute.
so using this expert diffraction. So every direction will have we calculate different the size of the size of the crystal, so that we can and we calculate the type of that here the
మళ్ళీ ఈసారి కనపడగానే చెప్దాం. లేదు Madam, please excuse us. You are not at all audible, ma'am.
So, is very so especially in our network problem. I'm so sorry. So this is an electron beam scans the surface and gets reflected. That is backscatter, and electrons are collected, and sample must be electrically conductive. Material surface is observed in the case using a scanning electron microscope. Using a transition electron microscope, the electron beam passes through the material. This passes through the material, and the sample size should be very thin. So, and also the magnification is much more when compared to the scanning electron microscope. And one more characterization is Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy.
Advice.
This was the share the slides. Light having wavelength longer than the visible spectrum. So it gives them this FTIR shows in the graphical picture way, it gives bands, vibrational bands. There is oxygen bonds, OH, and C double bonds, triple bonds, single bond, like that. This Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy gives the band assignments. Whether this if we take a phosphor material. Suppose if we take phosphor material, it shows much luminescence properties compared to the other type of particle, other types of materials. And here also there is one more graph, which there are so many parameters that we can calculate from the characterization technique. Suppose if we take the case of an optical band gap. So using this optical band gaps, how the transitions are going on, So suppose if we take 3 or 4 types of chemical compositions, or the chemicals. So the band gaps, how the transitions are taking place. Suppose for the case of this, suppose if we are adding a transition metal ion or a rare earth metal ion, so that also gives a particular peaks at certain points on the curves of this optical absorption. So like this characterization, if we do a number of characterization, then finally we can conclude, and finally we can confidently say that this type of material is useful for so and so applications. That this type of material is useful for so and so applications. So this always we have to analyze with the earlier research which has taken place. So with the comparison, and finally we'll arrive at a conclusion that if we take a particular type of composition, in order to prepare a material, then these all the characterizations have to take place. So finally what we say is, so this type of material is useful for a particular type of application, The first and the foremost thing is literature survey. So if we are interested in any of the materials, this can be done using any of the processes. So the process, while doing the synthesis of these materials, the synthesis of suppose if it is a glass, the synthesis should be done accurately. The synthesis should be done accurately. Now, suppose if we have to keep that certain temperature, we have to maintain the temperature constantly. Otherwise, suppose if there are any fluctuations, We shouldn't take that at that particular time. So constant temperature, maintaining the constant temperature is also very important. And suppose if we are going for a biological material, we have some more characterizations and some more tests that should be done. So for that, we'll take that BSF solution. Suppose if we are doing a biomaterial, we have to do the bio also. So here what we'll do is we'll prepare a simulated body fluid solution, and we'll detect the material which we have prepared. We have some more observations, and only it will be used. Then only we can consider that as a biomaterial. If it is a bioclass, biosystem, like to take into consideration. So with all these techniques only, we can conclude that this class, this is a ceramic, this is a nanomaterial, this is a biomaterial. Like that we can. So after analyzing all this, and after with a high knowledge discussion, then we can conclude. So after conclusion, what will is we'll go for a publication. We have to write the publication for a particular. Then you can go for publication. If you are not interested in doing a publication, then you can go for a patent. If your particular material or a particular product has unique properties, then you can file a patent. So publication carries weightage. So it goes to the R&D. It goes to R&D, and patent is more useful. Patent is more useful either to the R&D and also to the person who has done this research. So synthesis is important, and also problem selection and the objectives. And you have these objects should be met at the conclusions. So finalizing a product, so the conclusion should be in a clear manner for which you have. So that is the final thing. So anybody is having any doubts? Anybody is having doubts?
Thank you, ma'am. Since we have several interruptions in between, if you can
Yes,
share
yes.
your PPT, we in turn will be sharing the same to all the participants. And towards the end of the session, we have scheduled that the participants may raise any queries, and they'll be giving their feedback, ma'am. Since we are running out of time and the second resource person is waiting, can you please conclude, ma'am?
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Certainly, I will show you the PowerPoint. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
In spite of technical flaws, ma'am has completed successfully. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, ma'am. Now I invite Mrs. M. Durga, HOD, Department of Commerce, to introduce Dr. P. Giribabu, Assistant Professor from Geetham University, Visakhapatnam.
Good
Over to
afternoon,
Durga.
one and all. Now, I am going to introduce our resource person, Dr. Paliseti Giribabu Garu, MCom, MBA, and PhD. Present, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Marketing, Geetham University, Visakhapatnam, since 2019. Previously worked 12 years in Sir CRR College, PG courses in Management Studies. He qualified for UGC NET in the year 2012. He has 15 years of teaching experience at the postgraduate level and specialized teaching skills in research methodology, consumer behavior, communication skills, and operational management. He published 15 research articles in international journals, indexed in Scopus, Web of Science, ABDC, and UGC Care List. Participated and presented 15 papers in various national and international seminars, conferences, and workshops. He participated in 20 faculty development programs. He was trained under different training programs in blended and virtual learning classes. He was acted as a resource person for guest lectures and national webinars on different management themes. Present, guiding 2 PhD scholars. He is also lifetime member of the Indian Society for Training and Development, New Delhi. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Okay, madam. Thank you, Durga, madam. My voice is audible, clear? Madam, my
Yes,
voice
sir.
is audible, clear?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you. First of all, my gratitude and also thanks to Sri Alluri Indra Kumar Garu, President, Sir CRR Educational Institutions, Eluru, Dr. MBSV Prasad Garu, Secretary, Sir CRR Educational Institutions, Eluru, and Sri Viswanatha Rao Garu, Correspondent, Sir CRR College for Women, and this webinar chairperson, Mrs. P. Sailaja Garu, Principal, Sir CRR College for Women, and webinar organizing secretaries, coordinators, technical team, and all faculty members, and also participants. Good afternoon to one and all. Thank you very much for all these, this great opportunity. I am also great bonding with Sir CRR Educational Institutions. Previously, I was worked 12 years from 2007 to 2019 June. That is the great experience and great milestone in my academic life. So this is the fourth session, today's second session, that is the second day. So in social sciences and also physical sciences. Today is our session, the last session, second day, commerce and business management, research methodology and commerce and management. I will screen share my PPT. Madam, visible?
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. Clear, madam? Visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, today's last session, commerce and business management, research methodology on commerce and business management. So generally, what is the role of commerce and business management in the organization? Generally, we know about every organization also having objectives. Here, is there any trading organization or maybe manufacturing concern? we have known what about the four areas. Here, maybe the finance, marketing, human resources, and operations. So here, finance has the objectives. Generally, more profits, wealth maximization, improve ROI, or build strong financial strategies. Maybe the marketing also having objectives. Increase in sales, maybe increase in market share, customer satisfaction, and also like human resources. So here, what about the strengthen the good human resources through good training and also development, and also more concentrate on employee turnover. Maybe operations also having objectives, how to produce good quality products and also how to adopt new technologies. These are all what about different areas of objectives. Here, how to reach these objectives? Generally, the business success depends on what aspects. So here, the business organization having availability of financial resources, or maybe having good human resources, or maybe good technology, or maybe good physical infrastructure. All these are available, but business is success or not. That is also very great doubt. So here, the main key for business success depends on only one thing, that is decision making. Decision making is the crucial and very, very important aspect in all the business organizations for the main responsibility of the executives or managers or maybe the top level management. So here, when decision making is very crucial, that is also very important. So all things are certainty, there is no problem. But when the things are uncertainty, either internal organization, internal factors in the organization, or maybe external factors in the organization, in that case, decision making process is also very, very critical in nature. Because here, why I am discussing this decision making, generally, before we are also, if we research is also depends on the decision making situations, decision making problem. So that's why here, uncertainty conditions in the organization or in the market or in the economy, then the decision making is also very, very crucial in nature. So then we can also analyze the situation, decision making situation. So decision making situation is the foremost thing. What about the need of the research? Here, generally, through research only we can take what about the positive decisions, and that those decisions are very helpful to the organization. So what is the goal of research here? Generally, the goal of research is also supply accurate information, and that is also reduces the uncertainty in the managerial decision making process. So here, in this sense, business research also helps decision makers gathering the accurate information through systematic investigation. So in this point of view, what about the contributions, research contributions? Okay, that is also particularly in decision making in several key ways. These are include generally helping the better define the current situation, the decision making process, and defining the firm, how the determining our consumers or maybe the customers, competitors, and also employees, and providing ideas for enhancing the current business practices, identifying new strategies in the directions, examining how correct a certain business theory is a given situation. So in this point of view, decision making is also very, very important aspect before starting, before that is the finalization. What about the basis for the research here? So in this particular situation, all things are certainty. There is no great decision making process. When the things are uncertainty in nature, then the decision making situation we can we can be analyzed. So how to tackle these uncertain situations? Generally, through analyze the decision-making situation. So here the decision-making situation, please be, this is the decision-making situation. What about here? Opportunity and also problem is also there. So here, this is the discovery orientation. This is the conformity orientation. Opportunity and problem. Maybe the decision making, when we also need to take the decision, either in the problematic case or in the case of opportunity case. Maybe here, this is the ambiguity. This is the uncertainty. This is also complete certainty. Maybe here in this particular sense, opportunity and certainty trends more obviously point to single best opportunity. There is no confuse. We will take decision very easily in nature. When the problem is also there and complete certainty, so many noticeable symptoms pointing to a single question. So here there is no, we are not much more thinking about the decision making. But this discovery orientation situation, it is also very, very important. We're also taking a lot of time. What about our decision making? So here, what about here? The complete ambiguity, uncertainty, and complete certainty. So here, we know the decision making is the process of developing and creating among the alternative ways of resolving the problem. So here, every decision making situation can be classified based on whether it best represents a problem or an opportunity. When we will take the decision making, either in the problematic case or in the case of the opportunity, and where the situation falls on continuously, means continuum from absolute ambiguity to complete certainty. Dear participants, my voice is audible, clear? Please respond, anybody?
Yes, sir. It's very clear, sir.
Okay, madam. So a business opportunity is a situation that makes some potential competitive advantage possible. The discovery of some undeserved segment present such an opportunity. So opportunities are available in the external environment. So before that opportunities are not available in the external, but those opportunities now available, but how can we utilize? In that situation, we can take the decision making. So business problem is a situation that makes some significant negative consequences. So problems are always negative consequences. So when we also analyze this situation, we will take the decision very easily in nature. So most business problems, however, are not nearly, what about here? So generally, see this quadrant. Problems are commonly inferred from symptoms, which are observable cues that serve as a single of a problem because they are caused by that problem. So this is the problem. This is the complete ambiguity. Ambiguity means here there is no clearness. So symptoms exist but are subtle and few, making problem identification is also difficult. So generally, any problem may be through first symptoms. Then we're also, that when we also observe the symptoms, generally we also recognize the problem. But in this quadrant or in this situation, the problem is not in clear. So only symptoms is also there. That's why the decision making process is also very crucial in nature. For example, one person or a patient is also suffering from stomachache or maybe the stomach upset. That is his problem. But the doctor is also diagnosed through that symptoms. He is also, what is the root cause of the cues or the symptoms, maybe the ulcer or maybe any problem in that particular stomach. So likewise, in business organizations, every problem is also gives first of all symptoms only. For example, an increase in employee turnover is generally only a symptom of business problem. Rather than the problem itself, research may help identify what is causing this symptom, so the decision makers can attack the problem, not the symptoms, not just for the symptoms. So what is the root cause for employee turnover? So because that is the symptom, then what is the problem? We can be, what about through investigate or maybe the research. So here, whether facing an opportunity or a problem, business need quality information to deal effectively with this situation. How can we take the decision? So the good decision making is also depends upon accurate information. Okay, maybe the information is also effective in nature, then we will take the decisions. So here, what is the certainty? Certainty means, complete certainty means that the decision maker has all information needed to make optimal decision. For example, if a manager is completely certain about the both problem or opportunity and future outcomes, then the research may not be needed at all. So in this course, in this particular line, confirmatory orientation, there is no need not to research, because all the things are certainty. All the things are we know. Why you do the research? But discovery orientation, this is the very, very important. In this decision making situation, analyzing this situation, then the research is needed, because all the most of the things are uncertainty in nature. Those are very complete ambiguity. So when we also clear these symptoms, recognize the problem, ambiguity to uncertainty, uncertainty to certainty, then the problem is we can be easily identified. So generally the uncertainty means that the manager grasps the general nature of desired objectives, but the information about alternatives is incomplete. Conditions of uncertainty, effective managers recognize the spending additional time to gather data that clarify the nature of decision is needed. So in this discovery orientation, maybe the opportunity decision making or problem decision making, we can be much more of time do the research. What about the exact problem? So here, business decisions generally involve uncertainty in things, either in the problematic case or maybe the opportunities case. All the things are certainty. There is no need not to conduct the research. So here, ambiguity is the nature of problem itself is unclear. Objectives are vague. Decision alternatives are difficult to define. This is by far the most difficult decision situation, but perhaps the most common. So this discover orientation. In this situation, ambiguity, okay, problem, ambiguity, opportunity, ambiguity. So there is no clear symptoms or there is no clearness. What about the external environment or internal environment, uncertainty things? Then we will do the research. So complete certainty and predictable future outcomes may make business research waste of time. So in this particular line, the total research is also waste of time. More important, ambiguous or uncertain situation is more likely it is the additional time must be spent on business research. So that's why here in this particular conclusion, problems and opportunities. Okay, in this case of problems and opportunities, under problem focused decision making, conditions are high ambiguity, symptoms may not clearly point some problem, or maybe the opportunity oriented research. Okay, ambiguity is the characterized by environmental trends that do not suggest clear direction. That's why before do the research, we can analyze the decision making situation. So when we're also conducting the research, generally uncertainty things, ambiguity. Those are maybe the problem is also ambiguity, uncertainty. Opportunities are ambiguity and uncertainty. We do the research. That's why decision making situation is also very, very important aspect what about the basis of the research here. Now, what about here? What are the steps in the business research process? This is also very, very important. So generally, 6 steps are important. One is the problem discovery and definition. Through problem discovery and definition, we'll also conclude about what are the research objectives. First of all, research objectives are very important. Without research objectives, we are not going to the next or further step. So here, problem definition or problem discovery means here, through problem definition or problem discovery, we'll also conclude about the research objectives. This is the step 1. Step 2, planning the research design. And step 3, planning a sample. Step 4, data collection. Step 5, data processing and analysis. Step 6, drawing conclusion. And also, what about the prepare the report, research report. Now we can analyze each and every step. So this diagram generally, what about the very simple diagram? These 6 steps: defining research objectives, research design, sampling, data collection, data analysis, conclusion, and reporting. But what about, we can also elaborate this particular diagram. These are the 6 steps: problem discovery and definition, planning the research design, sampling, data gathering or collection, data processing and analysis, and drawing the conclusion and presentation the report. These are 6 steps are very, very important in our business research process. Maybe any subject relates to our commerce and management, either finance or maybe marketing or operations or maybe human resources. Now we will discuss step by step. So these are, we know, step 1, problem discovery and definition. This is the why we're also problem discovery and definition. We're also, first of all, set the research objectives. Research objectives are heart of the research. Without research objectives, there is no meaning for to conduct the research. Second one, planning the research design. This is this one. Third one, planning sample. Fourth one, data collection. And fifth one, data processing analysis. And sixth one, what about the presentation, the report? What about the conclusion? Here, the step 1 generally. So here, the objectives may involve for any area, either marketing or maybe HR or maybe operations. So here, for example, here 2 objectives: exploring the possibilities of entering new market. This is our research objective. Or maybe testing the effect of some policy change on employee job satisfaction. This is also one of the research objectives. So how can we develop these research objectives? That is also very, very important thing. That's why before we will be conclude about the research objectives, we can also discover the problem or define the problem first of all. So the research objectives cannot be developed until researchers have agreed on the actual business problem that will be addressed by the research. So how can we set the research objectives? Only define the problem. First of all, research problem. What is the problem here? We can clearly define. Then this is the one of the part of our research objectives. So here generally managers or maybe the researchers may not have a clear-cut understanding of the situation at the outset of the research process. Managers may only be able to list off symptoms that could indicate a problem. So here, for example, employee turnover is increasing, but management may not know the exact nature of the problem. Thus, the problem statement often is made only in general terms. What is to be investigated is not a specialty identified. So employee turnover is the problem. Employee turnover is symptom. But what is the root cause of the employee turnover? Through we can be research. So here, however, properly defining a problem can be more difficult than the solving. Thus, defining the decision situation, what I was already explaining. So before going to problem definition, or maybe the set the objectives, we can analyze the decision situation. What about the problems? What about the opportunity? What about the state of the ambiguity and uncertainty, certainty? So this situation is also very, very important aspect for define the problem, and also we can be conclude about the research objectives. So maybe here, this is the first step, problem discovery and definition. So define the research objectives. Maybe here, how can we define the research objectives? So here the problem definition. This is the statement of research. Problem definition and research objectives are very combined in nature. Through problem definition, we can be conclude about the research objectives. Maybe through exploratory research. Here, exploratory research can be used to help identify and clarify the decisions that need to be made. These preliminary research is also can be scope of the research topic and help the transform ambiguous problems into well-defined. So the problems are not clear. So then ambiguous problems into well-defined.
Transfer?
Subbareddy garu, please.
Participants, please unmute yourself.
So the business researcher can employ techniques from 4 basic categories, obtain insights in the clear idea of problem. Maybe the secondary data, previous research. Through previous research, we can also recognize the research gap, or maybe the experience survey, or maybe the case studies. Through this particular first step, we can conclude about problem definition or problem recognition, and we will be framing the what about the research objectives. This is the first and foremost step in our research process. So the stating the research objectives after identifying and clarifying the problem, with or without exploratory research, the researcher must formally state the research objectives. So when we also define the problem, this is the clear problem. So we can also recognize or observe the cues or symptoms, then recognize the problem. After recognize the problem or define the problem, we can frame the research objectives. Without research objectives, there is no meaning for conducting the research. So here, the research objectives drive the rest of the research process. Indeed, before proceeding, the researcher and managers must agree that the objectives are appropriate and will produce relevant information. Through that objectives, okay, maybe that objectives are all the maybe managers or executives or researchers. First of all, they also agree, depends on the problem recognition. Then they also conclude about the framing the research object. So this is the first step. Okay, first step, problem discovery and definition. Second one, planning the research design. After identification of the problem or recognition of the problem, framing the objectives, then we will be, what about the second step, planning the research problem. How can we plan the research problem? After researcher has formulated research problem, okay, then must be develop the research design. So here the research design is a master plan, specifies the methods and procedures for collecting the data, analyzing the need of the information. A research design provides framework or plan of action for the research. So further step, the planning of the research design, making how we can collect the information, or what about the investigation, how can we analyze? These are the steps. Maybe we can also plan in the second step. This is called planning the research design. So generally, this planning the research design may be the surveys, interviews or questionnaire. Through survey, maybe direct interview, face-to-face interview, or telephoning interview, or maybe questionnaire supplied to the respondents, or maybe experiments in the laboratory, or in the made up of field work, or maybe the secondary data study, or some observations. So here, for 4 basic design techniques, we know surveys, okay, or maybe the experiments, or maybe the secondary data or observation. Observation is also very, very critical method. Sometimes the respondents do not know what about the research is also going on. So here, sometimes there is no possibility or maybe the time constraint. We can also maybe the secondary, depends on the secondary data. So this is the second step. So generally the selection or choosing the research design depends on the objectives of the study, the availability of the resources, data resources, the urgency of the decision, the cost of obtaining the data, and in business research, most common method of generating primary data, that is the survey method. These are the main basic things before choosing the right research design. So each of the surveys are very, very easy in nature, but the research, the main advantage of observation technique is that records of behavior without relying on reports from the respondents. Observational data are often collected and possibly without respondents' direct participation. So that's why that is also sometimes very. So what is the best research design? How can we conclude which is the best research design? So that is the depends upon the researcher. Some researchers are maybe the survey method, they can choose. Some researchers are maybe observation. Some researchers are more depends on the secondary data. That is generally here the ability to select the most appropriate research design develops with experience only. Inexperienced researchers are often jump the conclusion that a survey methodology is usually the best design because they are most comfortable with this method. But time constraint, availability of the resources, which method is best one, that is depends on the researcher experience. So the first thing, the first two steps are over. First one is the problem discovery and definition. Second one is the second step, planning the research design. And third one, after designing, research designing, then we go to the planning the sampling. Here we know sampling involves any procedure that draws conclusion based on measurement of a portion of the population. So maybe in India, we have the nearly 150 crores or 140 crores. We can't conclude, we can't survey all total population, or maybe in state, or maybe in district. So how can we select the particular sample? In other words, a sample is a subset from a larger population. The first sampling question is, who is to be selected? Who is to be sampled? The answer is the identification of target population. Who are our target customers? Who are our target consumers? Maybe that depends upon, we can also set the sampling. The second question, sample size. Sample size is also very important here. Maybe in the case of probability sampling or non-probability sampling. Here, other things are equal. Larger samples are more precise than the smaller ones. Maybe the great results, sometimes also conclusion. So here, generally, the final sampling decisions is now to select the sampling units. Sometimes simple random sampling may be the best one type. Sometimes the cluster sampling is also sometimes very important in nature. For example, if members of the population are found in close geographical clusters, then we can select the cluster sampling. So sometimes what about the time constraint or maybe the cost of the budget of the research? Sometimes the cluster sampling is also very suitable in nature. Next one, fourth one is the data collection. So this is the data collection or data gathering. This is the fourth step. So the data gathering stage begins once the sampling plan has been formalized. Then how can we collect the data? Data may be gathered by human observers or maybe the interviewers or maybe appoint some other persons. They may be recorded by missions as in the case of scanner data and web-based surveys nowadays also. So surveys require direct participation by research respondents, direct interact with the respondents. This may involve filling out a questionnaire or interacting with the interview. In this sense, there are also abstracts. Abstracts means here, in the case of direct interviews or maybe direct to interacting with the respondents, sometimes they feel very uncomfortable in nature. So unobtrusive method of data gathering are those in which the subjects do not have to disturb the data to be collected. They may be even unaware that research is going on at all. What about the respondents? So sometimes that is also maybe the advantage in nature. So sometimes in data gathering or data collection, some errors also there. However, the data are collected, it is also important to minimize the error process. If an interviewer phrases the questions incorrectly or record the respondent statements, automatically the collection of errors are there. So we can minimize those collection of errors. So next one, what is the next step? The fifth one is the data processing and analysis. So here, data processing generally begins with the editing and also coding. What about the analysis? Editing involves seeking the data collection forms, the omissions, legibility, and consistency in the classification. The editing process corrects the problems such as interviewer errors. Maybe the answer records on the wrong portion of the questionnaire. So these are all editing process before entering the data or transfer the data into the computer. Editing is also very important. After that, the rules for the interpreting, categorizing, recording, and transferring the data to the data storage media are called coding. So before analyzing, before utilizing, or maybe the application of the software, this editing and coding also very, very important things. So here data analysis may involve determining consistent patterns and summarizing the relevant details relieved in the investigation. The appropriate analytical technique for data analysis will be determined by management information requirements, the characteristics of research design, and the nature of data gathered. So these are all maybe the information requirements, characteristics of the research design, and nature of data gathering. These are all very, very important aspects. What about the analytical technique? Which type of analytical technique we can be utilized in the analysis of the gathering the data? That is also very important in nature. Maybe sometimes the statistical analysis, univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, or multivariate analysis. Univariate analysis, only one variable we can be taken that. Bivariate maybe two variant. Multivariates means here more than two variants we can be. What about our research design? Generally, different data analytics tools are there. Excel is the very old in nature, SPSS, and also AMOS nowadays, Stata, and also R software, and also Python. These R and Python are very, very advanced software analysis techniques, research analytics techniques. So this is the data processing and analysis. So here in data processing analysis, we can be interpreting the data. Okay, what about the data collection or data gathering in the particular fourth step? So then we can be analyzing the data with the coding and also editing and coding, and we will be utilize some technical tools or maybe the softwares. We can analyze the data, interpreting the data. What about according to our research objectives, research proposal, or maybe based on our hypothesis, we will be interpreting the data analysis within our own words. After that, we will be the last step, drawing conclusions and preparing the report. This is the final step in our research. What about the design process? So here, ultimately, what about the main research objective? The researcher supply the information or investigation information to the management or to the executives or to the top level management. Sometimes, generally, the top level management or maybe the managers, they cannot, what about the availability, or they are not understanding the analysis process or which type of software we are also analyzing. So they can only see, they can only watch, observe what about the final report by the researcher. That is the final stage. This is also very, very important. This is the final stage of research project. one of the most important jobs that a researcher performs is communicating the research results. The conclusions and report preparation stage consist of interpreting the research results, describing the implications. What about the implications? How can the results, or what about the implications? How can we, in our own words, based on the analysis, what about our conclusion part? Here, that is also very, very important. Drawing the appropriate conclusions for managerial decisions. These three are very important in this particular conclusion or preparing the research report, because only the last step only they can also see, and they can also depends on the decision making, depends on the this last step, research conclusions or preparing the report. So these conclusions should fulfill the deliverable promised to the research proposal. What about our research objectives? We reach our research objectives through our analysis or not? So what about our hypothesis? So this is the conclusion situation for that particular preparing the research report. What about our conclusion? What about our implications? What about our interpretation? What about our final report to submit to the management or submit to the top level management through our investigation, through our, because only they can see, they can observe only the final report. They are not touched with the sampling design, how to collect the sampling, how to gathering the data, how to analyzing the data. Only the final report is the only observed by that particular. That is the basis for the decision making by the top level management. So this is the last one. The importance of effective communication cannot be overemphasized. Research is only as good as its applications. So these are the 6 steps involved in our through entire business research process in any functional area, either finance or marketing or human resources or maybe in operations. These 6 steps are very, very important in nature. These 6 steps are we can be followed in our research process, business research process. Exactly, time is also 4:30. Now I will stop or continuous, madam.
Sir, it would be better if we conclude, sir.
Okay. Okay, madam. 4:30 is time. That will be conclude. I will be conclude that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So these 6 steps are very important in our business research process. Okay. Problem discovery and definition, planning the research design, sampling, data gathering, data processing analysis, and prepare the research report. So here the prepare the research report, sometimes the researchers maybe add their own views, but that is also unethical point, unethical views in that particular research. So what we have exactly investigated in any either functional area, we show the exact report and submit to the process, submit to the management. This is my conclude about the research methodology on commerce and business management. Dear participants, please be any questions?
Thank you, Giribabu sir, for your wonderful lecture. It's very simple and easy to understand by every researcher. Thank you so much.
Madam, your voice is not clear.
It is integral to succeeding in many professions. Its main purpose is to develop knowledge in the field of study. Day 1 of our national webinar focused on social sciences and biological sciences, and day 2 focused on physical sciences and business management studies. About 180 participants from various streams have participated in the webinar these 2 days. Professor Sandhya Kole highlighted on objectives of the research, how a research is going on, how to choose a problem, and how to find out a solution to a particular problem, and so on. And Dr. Giribabu, he spoke on role of commerce and business management in any organization and various objectives, steps for the success of a business, role of decision making in a business, and goals of research, and also steps in business process, and how to plan the research design, and so on. And these are very, very useful to all the researchers. I believe that the information provided by our speakers might definitely help many scholars and researchers who have attended the webinar. Thank you so much for this, sir. Now, next one is valedictory session. I welcome the management members to the valedictory session. I welcome our President, Sri Indra Kumar Garu, Secretary Sir, Sri Dr. MBSC Prasad Garu, and our correspondent, CH Viswanath Rao Garu, to this valedictory session. I also welcome guests, Dr. Suresh Verma Garu and Dr. Kamal Kumari Garu to this session. I welcome speakers, B. Srinivas Garu, MNV Prasad Sir, Professor Giribabu Sir, and Professor Sandhya Kole Ma'am. And also I welcome our beloved Principal Ma'am to the valedictory session. I invite Mrs. R.L. Syamala, HOD Department of Statistics, to introduce Dr. Kamal Kumari Ma'am.
A very good evening to all. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce today's guest for valedictory October 1974. The strength of Dr. Kamal Kumari is her educational qualification. She completed SSC at Railway Mixed High School, Vijayawada in 1990. She completed intermediate at Centrum University College of Engineering, JNU Kakinada in 2007. She was awarded PhD in 2014 from AKNU Rajahmundry. She completed courses in Visual Basic 6.0 and Web Page Development in USA. She has a teaching experience of 19 years, both at youth level, a teaching assistant at Siddhartha College, Vijayawada. Through her she, as convener, she organized various national, state, and university level workshops, conferences, seminars, and webinars. She is the member of professional bodies like CSI India, Computer Science Teachers Association USA, International Association of Computer Science and Information Technology, Indian Society for Technical Education. She attended several training courses, workshops, and faculty development programs conducted by Adikavi Nandaya University, Acharya Nagarjuna University, University of Hyderabad, Usmania University, ISI New Delhi, etc. on different topics like data analytics, big data analysis in banking and conference proceedings to her credit. She has participated presented research papers in her domain, subject at international, national, and university level seminars, workshops, and webinars. Professional recognition of Associate Fellow from AP Academy of Sciences, and she is the member of Computer Society of India. On behalf of management, staff, and students of Sir CRR College for Women, Eluru, I welcome you, Madam, to the webinar and request you to give valedictory address.
Network bandwidth low అంటున్నాడు. Kamala Kumari madam will be joining us, and as Sandhya ma'am has sent the PPT, we will be sharing it in the WhatsApp group which was created for this purpose. And as and when the participants fill their feedback forms, they'll be receiving e-certificates. Kindly note.
Over to Kamala Kumari, ma'am.
Hello, madam.
Madam, you can
Madam, good
continue.
evening.
We are waiting for you.
Yeah, madam, so shall I start?
Yes, ma'am, you can start.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were waiting for me. Ma'am, sorry for the delay. Good evening to Principal Madam, Dr. Sailaja Madam, staff of CRR Women's College, and participants. Good evening to all of you. I was glad to be part of this meeting. First of all, I thank Dr. Sailaja Madam for making me part of this two-day national webinar on research methodologies. Whenever we remember CRR Women's College, the first person to remember is Sailaja Madam. It's not only me, many of us from the university, we remember. I personally admire her the way she works for the college, because whenever she calls me, definitely it will be any one of the reasons for the college only. We don't go for any personal or all, but she always asks or clarifies or requests anything for the college sake. And really, madam, your dedication, it's really commendable to the college. I should also say that I'm well acquainted with the CRR colleges, I should say, for more than 8 years, and year by year, I see the progressive growth of the college activities in diverse events. It can be any seminars or webinars or conferences, any college events, functions. Every year, every semester, or every month, we do hear or see many activities from the CRR colleges. Like this shows the interests of the college and the work of the faculty, how they are working and how well they're focusing on the growth of the students and welfare of the campus. Even the management people, they're well acquainted or the well planned, because when I attend the academic council meeting, I see like very structured format of all the heads, uh, how they're designing and framing the syllabus, their objectives of modifying the syllabus. This all used to witness me how the CRR college, the staff and the management are serious about the academics of the college, and organizing the events on the webinars like this, like it shows they are looking forward for the research activities also. Like you all the participants witness the national webinar on research methodologies. Like when I see the talks of these 2 days, like these methodologies, like they have focused on social sciences, biological sciences, physical science, commerce and management. Like though we live in a machine world today, like previously we used to call we are in the digital world, but now I feel like me coming from the computer science, I feel like saying that we are in the machine world, and to this machine many of the concepts are connected, social sciences are connected, human values are connected, ethics are connected, psychology is connected, everything in this machine world. It's not only with respect to the technology, but this is related to anything and everything. And as the technology is growing, we are having so many problems and we are getting so many ideas with the growing technology. Like it shows like the technology, how much it is going, how much research is coming forward. Personally, I feel like few days back when I went to Western Union just to transfer some amount abroad, it's like when I gave that person's account number to transfer some amount, that Western Union people, they are asking me like to which bank this account belongs to, where does they are staying right now, initially where they started the bank, now at present where their branch is. These are all the questions they are asking. An account number is given, why not the systems are not there which will give the complete details of that account number? Why we have to give all again some other information? Why not the information is immediately coming out? So this, even though we are say that so much of technology and we are living in so much of comfortable places, but still there is a lack of technology, I feel. Even personally, like when I forget my ATM card somewhere, I start searching all the places. Where is my card? Where is my card? Where did I keep? Where did I lose? Yesterday, where did I keep? Sometimes I feel like why not there be some chip inside that card, so that if I call, even that card also rings or gives some sound, so that I can find that card where it is. It is like we are getting so many ideas. Initially, like we don't have any ATM cards, but after the ATM cards, again we are searching for some sort of extension to that, for much more comfortable situations to face. So there is no end to the research, there is no pause to the research. The more technology, the more research has to go. When I say that the more technology, recently, like when we see the United Nations Population Fund, UNPA, they are projecting that by 2023 we are going to cross the China's population. Though at present we are now at 134 billion, but by 2023 we are crossing the China's population, and by 2030 it says like we are going to be ahead, more ahead than any other countries, and we are going to be the part of it. Is almost coming around 15% of the world population India is going to be. Now we can imagine, or we can imagine how the country situation will be when this much of population growth rate is there. So how we have to handle all this, where we are going, what can be the solution to these problems. Definitely when a country's population is growing this at this rate means we can imagine like what will be the education, what will be the financial, what will be the agricultural, what will be the socio-economical status of any person. As an educationist, as an academician, as a researcher, what is our role? Whether it can be any field, whether you are a statistician, whether you are a technical person, whether you are a language person, whether you are a psychology person, how to handle this kind of world problems, what we are going to face in future. Today, when we learn the research methodologies in this workshop for 2 days in diverse fields, what we are going to do with this research methodologies, learning these 2 days, what we are going to do tomorrow. What is our role when we go to the colleges? What is our role when we take our personal aspect? What we are going to do with this workshop once, or with this webinar, once we go into our regular routine? Is this workshop is going to play a role? Is this webinar, are we going to take or implement the tips or the classes what we have taken? Are we going to keep this in publishing in any journal, or whatever we have learned, are we going to keep it in how, or for the questions, how we have to do this? We have to keep all these solutions, the methodologies, what you learn in our actual implementation, and try to find the problems, try to find the solutions. We are the persons like who has to identify the problem. We are the persons who should find the solutions. As a researcher, like we should grow vertically in these states so that our application or our solution or our problem should be, or it should be as a solution to the global problem, how to face the challenges. So there are reforms that has to be done by the government in either the education, economical or social policies. Let us be part of this reforming things with the research, because I generally give, though in the university, though we play so many administration roles, I don't feel any administration role will give that satisfaction unless we have the proper research in our particular field, which gives the major satisfaction, and that gives the confidence levels of what we have studied and what we will study. As being a teacher or an academician, we are evergreen learners and evergreen students. We should have the aspect and the inspiration to learn ourselves. And the Sierra Women's College, to this particular attitude, has given a step for us to step on, to have these research methodologies to be implemented in our research. Madam, Sailaja Madam, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I wish all the best for all the participants, and let this workshop be as one of your stepping stones to get your research methodologies implementation. And I appreciate, or I should thank all the resource persons who has come in the different fields to teach the research methodologies. Sailaja Madam and Sierra Women's College and the management of Sierra College, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. That's so kind of you for your kind words. Thank you so much. It's long time since we have met you. It's a pleasure seeing you again.
Yes,
And
thank
I
you.
have to quote Shakespeare, all is well that ends well. So the valedictory address has given us really a boost to our spirits, and we will be planning again and again and inviting you for your wonderful message. Thank you so much, ma'am. So kind of you.
Madam.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable suggestions and for your concern towards our institution. And next is feedback session. It's no secret that feedback is an important component of effective learning. Feedback improves our confidence and motivates us to learn more and more. I call upon the participants to give their valuable feedbacks. Sir, anyone there?
Madam.
Yes, sir. Jalababu, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you. So this is Dr. R. Jalababu, IQSC coordinator, lecturer in chemistry, YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikaluru. On the whole, the webinar on research methodology was well organized for each. I congratulated principal of the college and organizing committee. As part of NAC accreditation, the webinars and seminars has to be conducted on particularly research methodology. This type of the webinars are very useful to young faculty, research scholars, and students. All the resource persons were well equipped and delivered the relevant content. And once again,
Thank you, Jalababu, sir, for wonderful feedback. Is there another participant to give your feedback? Okay, next move on to the next session, that is vote of thanks. The two-day national webinar on research methodology has been made possible with the support of many technical experts, individuals, management, both in manpower and finance. This support is greatly acknowledged. We are very much grateful to our chief patron, Sri Alluri Indrakumar Garu, patrons Dr. MBSV Prasad Garu and Sri Chalasani Viswanath Rao Garu for their encouragement to us in each and every academic activity for the welfare and development of the institution. Our sincere thanks to our chairperson, Mrs. P. Sailaja Garu, for her meticulous guidance at every stage of the webinar. Our deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Paul Divakar Garu, senior faculty, YVNR Degree College, for his key role in planning the webinar. We thank our resource persons, Dr. Suresh Verma Garu and Dr. Kamalakumari Garu, for accepting our invitation and delivering valuable messages. Our wholehearted gratitude to our speakers, Professor B. Srinivas sir, Professor MNV Prasad sir, Professor Sandhya Kohl madam, and Dr. Giribabu Garu for their in-depth lecture on research topics. Credit goes to our technical experts, Mr. KVV Srinivas, Mr. V. Swaroop, and Mr. V. Rambabu for smooth running of the event without any technical interventions. Last but not the least, I thank our coordinator, organizing secretaries, joint secretaries, and executive committee members for their coordination and support. I thank one and all. Let us end our program with national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय